Ketanji Brown Jackson will be the first black woman on the United States Supreme Court in its 233-year history. Yesterday morning, I had the privilege of meeting with her, and we discussed her judicial methodology as well as her story and her path in the law. Rising up to overcome so many barriers, Judge Jackson's story and her family's story is truly an American story. It's a story of hard work and sacrifice. It's a story of commitment to excellence. Judge Jackson's academic credentials are impressive. Graduating from Harvard College and Harvard Law School with honors from both college and law school. Her unparalleled professional credentials and the breadth of her legal experience equal or exceed that of any nominee in recent history. She's worked in private practice. She's worked as an assistant public defender, federal public defender, and as a law clerk at every level of the federal judicial branch, including a law clerk to Justice Breyer, who's going to be retiring from the court. But perhaps most important, she has worked as a federal judge for nearly 10 years, presiding over trials and later hearing appeals. During our meeting yesterday, Judge Jackson spoke about her career transition from attorney to federal judge, and specifically highlighted how her career as a trial attorney helped her grow into becoming a federal judge. Often lost in our discussions regarding federal judges are the people who are impacted directly by our legal system and our judges' decisions. At its core, our court system, more so than any other institution, is dedicated to the idea that everyone, not just the wealthy or powerful, should have a fair shot at justice, and that no one is above the law. The Beatitudes in the New Testament speaks to this idea of justice. We've all heard it over and over again. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for justice, for they shall be satisfied. The power of our judicial system and our judiciary stems from the integrity and the independence of our judges. It stems from their unrelenting commitment to the rule of law and to equal justice for all Americans. And throughout her career, but particularly as a public defender, a federal public defender, Judge Jackson has fought for a more equitable and a more just America, representing individuals accused of committing crimes and those who cannot afford a lawyer. All of those cases are difficult cases for any lawyer. The lawyer must be committed to upholding a core American value, that our legal system must protect all Americans, including defendants, to ensure, quote, equal justice under law, unquote, as is inscribed on the front of the Supreme Court itself. Judge Jackson has lived this commitment to justice, to equal justice. She understands the awesome power that will be bestowed upon her as a Supreme Court justice. She has seen firsthand the impact that a judge's decision can have on plaintiffs and defendants alike. It's why Judge Jackson has discussed how when she was a district judge, she would often take extra care to communicate with defendants in her courtroom to ensure that they understood the complexities of the legal proceedings happening before them. For when a defendant is before the bar of justice, Their liberty is at stake. And Judge Jackson wanted to make sure that they understood what was happening before them and what could happen to them. Her commitment to equal justice is also evident by her impartial rulings and the widespread support she's received from across the political spectrum. As a district court judge and as a circuit court judge, Judge Jackson has ruled for and against the government, in favor of prosecutors and for criminal defendants, for labor and for business, for civil plaintiffs and defendants. Her nomination received the support from several Republican senators, Republican-appointed judges, and former Republican-appointed officials. She received broad support from law enforcement organizations, including the Fraternal Order of Police, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, and other top law enforcement officials, including former Philadelphia Police Commissioner Charles Ramsey, as well as crime survivors and other advocates. Her nomination has received further support from civil rights organizations, as well as business organizations. Of course, Judge Jackson's nomination is about more than simply her great support that she's received and her impeccable credentials. Both are important, but that's not it. Yesterday morning, after my meeting with Judge Jackson, she was kind enough to meet with several members of my staff who have graduated from law school or who are getting ready to apply to law school, or some of whom have been accepted. She offered some salient advice about law school. I won't disclose what it was here, but it was good advice. And she encouraged them to keep going, to persevere. Now, Judge Jackson is already today, and has been for weeks and months now, an inspiration to tens of millions of Americans. Her graciousness, her humility, and her legal acumen are simply unmatched. Her confirmation to the Supreme Court will also inspire many future generations, those yet to come, and not simply future lawyers and advocates. And certainly, and particularly, her nomination and her confirmation will be particularly inspiring to young black women and girls to persevere, as she said to our staff yesterday. The day of her confirmation will be a good day for America. She lifts our spirits at a very difficult time for our nation. And while we have a long way to go, Judge Jackson's nomination is an important step to bringing us closer to having our institutions better reflect the great diversity of our nation as we strive to be a more perfect union. I'll go back to the Beatitudes again. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for justice, for they shall be satisfied. Judge Jackson, I have no doubt, will continue her work to strive for justice, to act with justice, as one of the great hymns tells us. She will do all of this as she discharges her duty as Justice Jackson. I look forward to voting for her to serve as an Associate Justice on the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Madam President, I would yield the floor.